我们第二位作家麦麦提吴首尔，他准备给我们发言。麦麦提首尔是维吾尔他用维吾尔文母语写作的作家。今天其实我们在座有一些作家都是用非汉语的母语写作的，就麦麦提首尔是其中一位。他生于新疆的伊犁。所以我们现在是从陕西走到新疆去了啊。那他的作品很多，包括了被沙漠淹没的古城、什艾喀姆、伊犁样诗等多部作品。现在我们请来自新疆的麦麦提吴首尔老师讲话。
Ben vatanımızın en jırak yerideki yurttan geldim.
I came from a place that is the most far away from the western part of our country.
Menindeki bir asallık millet yazgıcısını eskilip bu katlı bilim yurtuğa çakırtkan Lügüyşan efendim, Cüvüpin efendim, Havut efendim, Nürüyçin efendim, Yankıyı hanımlara rahmet etmek.
I want to thank Mr. Lu Mingdong, Mr. Yao Weiping, Mr. Robert Nieder, Mr. Howard Choi, and Ms. Jessica Young for having me, a writer of minority ethnicity, in their mind and asking me to come to this place of great knowledge.
Sizler bilen bir yer cem bulup, buğan nurgun yazgıçılar, obzurçular bilen tanıştım. Bunu nait hoşal oldum.
I'm very happy to be here together with all of you and get to know so many writers.
Hazır Şangang'da koyaş etrafını yaz günü de kızıp duruptu. Ürümçi'de allı burun kaçıp gitti hazır.
Hong Kong is near the sun, close to the sun, and it always stays heated like the summer days. But in the beginning of time, the god Allah has fallen snow to Urumqi, where Mr. Mehmet Min comes from.
Şinjan vatanımızın zimini keng bir ülkesi. Bir yerde 4 fasıl naati inik. Kışta lepildep kaçışıp kattık soğuludu.
Xinjiang is a very wide, very large province of our country. The 4 seasons there are very clear and exact. Kışta? In winter,
Lepildep kaç.
in winter snow flutters and falls, and it's extremely cold.
Baharda hem yene gül çiçek kaplaydı.
In the spring, everywhere is covered with blossoming flower.
Yazda turpan oyunmallarının ısığı 40 gradusunu işip gidiyordu, 80 gradusunu işip gidiyordu.
In the summer, the temperature of the Turpan depression rises to over 40 degrees Celsius.
Küzde yapılmakla sargıp dalala oltun lipas giydi.
In autumn, the leaves become yellow, and the countryside is covered with a piece of golden cloth.
Bu yerde mengü kar bilen muz bilen kaplanıp durduğun büyük çokbular, dozakның ısığı bulduğun çeksiz kumluklar, cennetlik çaylık bostanlıklar var.
The mountain peaks are always covered with snow, and where and the boundless deserts are extremely hot. And there are oases where they are as beautiful as the heaven.
Tabiatның mındak rengi cemali şairlara bütmez tügmez ilham ata kıldı.
Such colorful countenance of the nature offers endless inspiration.
Şuna bizim klasik edebiyatımızda şiir ezelden yukarı orunda turup gelgen.
This is why our classical literature and poems have attained high levels since a long time ago.
Bu yerdeki kumluklarda kaçandı bir zamanlarda kimler tarafından silingan acayip şehirler. Bütün dünyanın tarihi guva xilmi-xil eseri etikler kömülüp yatıdı.
In the desert, there was a time when people created amazing, marvelous cities. And the various kinds of works that are testified by world history were laid down and buried.
Çünkü bu yerda qadimiy Junxo madaniyati, Rim madaniyati, Hindi madaniyati, Arab, Fars madaniyatlari bir-biri bilan uchrashgan.
This is because that place was where the ancient Chinese cultures, the ancient Roman cultures, the ancient Hindu cultures, as well as the Arab and Persian cultures met.
İpek yolu belveri bir yerini kesip ötken.
The Silk Road zone, the Silk Road belt also passed through that place.
Qancha jahongezdi sayyahlar, qancha tavakkülchilarning oyoq izida shu qumluqlarda qolgan, qancha botirlar to'g'risidagi dastonlar xalq ichiga taralgan.
How many wanderers, travelers, and adventurers who have left their footprints on the desert?
Şunlaşkımkin bir yerdeki adamlar yirak kadimi zamanlar to'g'risida cho'chaklarni aytishmoqda.
How many epics about the heroes have been disseminated?
Bu yerdeki tarix yazma holatda emas, cho'chak bilan ig'izdan ig'izga ko'chib yuradi.
Those stories in the ancient time, oral legends and stories of that place are not recorded in written forms. They are copied and passed down from mouth to mouth.
Bizning bugungi adabiyotimiz ana shunday ajoyib g'aroyib cho'chaklar, turli afsonalar, qahramonlar to'g'risida dastonlar asosida taraqqi kelgan.
This is where the truly remarkable legends and all kinds of epics about the heroes and the outstanding persons in our literature today came from and were developed.
Men hikoya yozaman. Hikoyachilik biz uchun texi yaqinki gap.
I write stories. In recent time, there are many story writers.
An'anaviy Uyg'ur adabiyotida ilgari she'r asosi o'rin turadi. Keyin yerimi she'r, yerimi nasr bilan bayon qilingan qissachilik kelib chiqqan. Asta-asta taraqqi bugungi prozachilik barliq kelgan.
In traditional Uyghur literature, poems occupied a central position. Later on, a genre of half poem, half prose narrative stories was emerged, and slowly the genres of story writing today emerged.
Uyg'ur adabiyotida haqiqiy ma'nodagi bugungi zaman hikoyachiligini o'tgan asrning boshlarida o'tgan Su Tong, Umar Muhammadi qatorliq yozuvchilar boshlab bergan.
The real true meaning of Uyghur literature was given to modern story writers by leading writers in the beginning of the last century, such as Zunun Qadr, Umar Muhammad, and many others.
Men 70 yıllarning oxiri, 80 yıllarning 5dan boshlab qo'limga qalam oldim.
I am in my late 70s and entering my early 80s as I hold my pen in my hand.
Shunga obzorchilar menga yangi davr yozuvchisi deb baho berdi.
So that there are critics and commentators asking me to evaluate the writers of the new generation, new period.
Yazganlarım ancha ko'p emas. Hozirgacha 2 parcha roman, 4 parcha povest, 100 parchadan o'shiq hikoya yozdim.
So up until today, I have written 2 long novels, 4 to 5 short stories, and over 100. 4 to 5 short novels and over 100 stories.
Asas hikayelerim Xanzu tiliga tercüme qilindi. Yana bir qism eserlerim İngiliz, Türk, Mongol, Özbek, Kazak, Kırgız tiliga tercüme qilinib, Amerika, Türkiye, Kazakistan, Özbekistan qatorliq ellarda qaytib esildi.
So in general, my stories have been translated into Chinese. Some of my works are also translated into English, Turkish, Mongolian, Uzbek, Kazakh, Kyrgyz, and other national languages. And also my works are available in America, Turkey, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and other countries.
Yana bir qism eserlerim memleket işçi ve ülke dairesinde her xil edebi mükafatlarga erişti.
Some of my works have also received various kinds of literary awards in different countries and provinces.
Bugün bir yerde edebiyat to'g'risida nurg'un gaplar bo'ldi.
Yesterday and today there have been a lot of talking about literatures and literary theories.
Mening Xanzu seviyem nayt tuan, İngilizceni o'qimayman. Shunga to'liq tushunib ketamedim nurg'un gapni.
My level of Chinese speaking is low, it's very low. So I was not able to understand the entire talks of many of the writers.
Ben edebiyat doğrusu geplerini anlayman, okuyman ama oңай unutup kalıman.
I hear sayings about literature, I read stories, sayings about literature, and then I forget them.
Yazışqa o'ltirgan chig'imda bularning birasi esimim kelmaydi.
So I sit down and try to write, but my memory did not come to me.
O'zimning xiyoliy dunyoga kirib ketaman. O'zim bilgancha yozaverman.
So I write according to what I know and what I think.
Ba'zida xiyolimga shunda g'alati bilimlar keldi. Chog'roz, oltinchi ish, cho'chqalarga bayram, ish etish deganda hikoyalarni ana shunda g'alati narsalar yozilgan.
So sometimes what I think and my imaginations comes as very strange. So in my stories, such as Cha Horas, the cock, Autun Chislik, the dog with golden teeth, Chosklara Bayram, Pigs Festival, and Itish, shooting the dog, killing the dogs. There are many strange things written into those stories.
Bu hikoyalarda odamlar hayvonga, hayvonlar odamga aylanib ketadi.
In these stories, human beings become animals, and animals become human beings.
Ba'zida asarlardagi personajlarning zoti qaysi odam, qaysi hayvonligini o'zimni aylanmayman.
Sometimes in my own words, I'm not even able to tell which one is animal, which one is human beings.
Mundaq asarlarim jurnallarda e'lon qilingandan keyin obzorchilar uni chet ellardagi qaysi bir modernizm iqimini o'qishni talqib ketadi. Mundaq hikoyalarni o'qigandan keyin zodi nima bo'lib ketdi deb hayron bo'lib, nima bo'lib ketdi deb hayron bo'lib o'zimni yozganlarimni qaytib o'qib boqaman.
After those works are published in journals and magazines, critics and commentators do analysis about how my writings are similar to some trends or schools of thought in foreign countries. After I read those analyses, I was surprised and shocked. I tried to return to read those writings of mine.
Menimcha adabiyot deganning ketib qolgan o'lik qoidasi yo'qmi ekan deyman.
In my opinion, there is no dead rules. There is no rules when we talk about literature.
Adabiyotning yetkini buldigan cho'qqisi, to'xtab qoldigan pallisi yo'q. U mangu taraqqi qilib yengib turdi.
Literature is like an attainable peak. There is no step to stop and stay, and it develops forever and it fails forever.
Qandaq yazsang bo'laverdi. Ajoyib, g'aroyib qilsang mayli. Qancha g'alati bo'lsa, qancha qiziqarli shuncha yaxshi.
It is okay. It is all right to, however you want to write. It is all right to write something that is extremely strange, and then it is good to write about things that interest you.
Gap yozganlaring o'quvchini jalb qila olsa, ularni qiziqtira olsa, ularga zo'q ata qilasi bo'ldi.
If what you write is able to attract readers and get them interested, get them enthusiastic, then it is all right.
Adabiyot til san'ati, san'at bor narsani aks ettirdi, yo'q narsani tasavvur qilib yoritdi.
Literature is an art of language. Literature reflects what is there, what is present, and literature makes up, fabricates things that are not present.
Adabiyot ba'zida bor narsa bilan yo'q narsani aralashtirib, o'zgacha bir dunyoni hosil qildi.
All these literatures are about the happenings in the world.
Men adabiyot nazariyasini emas, adabiy asarlarning o'zini ko'proq o'qiyman. Yaxshi yozilgan asarning o'zi bir qimmatli darslik. Uningdan nurg'un narsa o'rgangani bo'ldi.
I am not a literary theorist. I have read a lot of literary works myself. A well-written literary work is a precious textbook, and there's a lot to be learned from that textbook.
Meni yozganlarimda cho'ng ishlar yo'q. Dunyoni üstün qilayotgan ulug' qahramonlar yo'q.
In what I have written, there is no big event. There is no great, outstanding person to change the world.
Hammasılar gündelik turmushdagi odatdagi odamlar.
everything is about the daily life of ordinary people.
Ular oddiy bir öylerde, itiz kırlarda, sişip ketken çayxalarda oturup, alemnin parını kıldı.
They are from ordinary families. They are from the edges of society. They chat. They talk about the human world in tea houses.
Kızık latiflerini tokup birbirini küldürdü, kadimi küylegi çelip muğlundu.
They tell interesting stories to laugh at one another, and then when they are angry, there are fire sparkling in their eyes.
Gazeplengende közlüdün ut çaknap gidiyordu. Koşal boğanda tigretip usulgu düşüyordu.
When they're happy, they frolic and jump about and dance.
Kündülük turmuşun özü yazgıç üçün tügümez materyal. Her günü yeni hadisler bulup durdu. Kimlerde toludu, kimlerde uludu. Kimlerde jığlaydı, kimlerde küldü. İzlense bir yerde şair bilen yazgıçka kıldığın iş mengü tügmeydi.
The daily life itself, there are endless sources that provides endless sources of materials for the writers. There are new events every day. Who was born, who was dead, who takes aims, who laughs. And to the writers, to the authors, the search for all these happenings is never ending.
Azatlıqның дәстәпки жылдарда Совет İttifaqıdan Uyghur tiliga tərcümə qilingan bir türküm yaxşı kitaplar kirgan.
The translation of literature is a job, is a work that advances mutual understanding and exchanges among different countries of the world.
Bu kitapların içinde Rus yazgıçlarının hikayeyle tanıştırılan dostluk ve muhabbet doğrusunda Hindi Pakistan yazgıçlarının hikaye tanıştırılan Hindi yazgıçlarının hikayeleri, Arap ellik yazgıçlarının eser tanıştırılan Arap prosu diye kitaplar var idi.
During the early years of the liberation, there are some good books that were translated into the Uyghur language that came from the Soviet Union. And the Russian writers introduced a book called Love and Friendship, and then Indian and Pakistan writers introduced a book called Hindi Writers' Stories. And there are works from Arab countries in a book called Arab Prose.
Bu üç kitapның təsiri məndə nəhayət çoxdur.
These three books have very strong influences on me.
Bizdə hazır dünya ədəbiyyatı, ədəbi tərcümələr degan jurnallar var.
Today we have journals, there are titles such as World Literature and Translation of Literatures.
Bu jurnallar Uyghur okurmenlerini dünya ədəbiyyatı və Xanzu ədəbiyyatındakı nadir əsərlər bilan uçlaşdırıb durdu.
These journals are very important works. These are where Uyghur readers get to meet or know world and Chinese literatures.
Xanzu yazıqdakı əsərlərini asıllıq millət tiliga tərcümə qıldırğan tərcüməçilərimizin səviyyəsi nəhayət yaxşı yazır.
The journals also raised the standard of the translators who translated Chinese literary works into minority languages.
Ular Xanzuca su boyida Qızıl Ravaqdakı çüş oxşaş klassik əsərlərini tərcümə qilib gəldi.
There are classical Chinese literary works such as The Water Margin, 水滸传, and The Dream of the Red Chamber, 红楼梦, being faithfully translated into the Uyghur language.
Amma asallıq millət yazıqdakı əsərlərini Xanzu tiliga, İngilis tili degəndək çoğ tillərə yetkizib tərcümə qılaydigan tərcüman nəhayət az.
However, there are still very few translators who are capable of translating literary works that are originally written in the major languages such as Chinese and English into minority languages.
Əsərlərimiz şuna əsərlərimizin sübütü tərcümədə ölüb ketib barır, düşüb ketib barır.
And the level of our literary works are reflected in their translations.
Mən Cinxuy Üniversitedəki məşındaq çoğ bilim jurtlarının asırlıq millət yazğıçılarının öz ana tildə yazğan əsərlərini dünya və çoğ tillərə tərcümə qılalaydigan qabul tərcümələrni yetişdirib çıxışını arzu qılıram.
I hope very much that places with great knowledge, great wisdom like the Hong Kong Baptist University will truly bring together skillful translators to translate the literary works of the minorities into major languages in the world.
Bu səhəndə öz ana tilim bilən sözlüğünümə nəhayət xoşal oldum.
I want to thank you for allowing me to speak in my mother tongue.
Tərcüman əpəndimgim nəhayət rəhmət.
Yarısmaydı.
感谢麦麦提首尔老师。同时，我们也同时感谢我们的翻译，英语的翻译，还有后面普通话的翻译，在那个房间里面，关门。的确麦麦特首尔老师呢指出的那个地域与文学的关系，少了那个翻译，我们不可能有所谓的这个世界文学全球文学甚至其实。说中国文学，如果我们不注意到少数民族的文学呢，其实是不完整的。